Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series. I'm Victoria Regan, the Global Ambassador for Arthur Murray International, and I am so thrilled to have Chris Lynam in person, whom I consider the cutting-edge franchisee of our company. How's that, Chris?
Wow. Thank you so much.
You know, I just think you've developed so many new things along with our incredible system, you and Daisy, who I'm sorry is not here, but we have you, so you'll cover the gamut of the past 3 decades, almost 3 decades.
Yeah, so, I started in 1999. I was pursuing a dream to become a better swing dancer, of all things, and then just ended up falling in love with the teaching process. And I remember I had intentions of working for a summer and then going to film school. And then I started teaching some young kids who I just took under my wing. And I remember I was teaching a group class, and one of the students said, "You know, kid, you're too talented to work here. You need to go to Hollywood." And I remember I said something that I didn't even imagine myself saying. As I said, I can't leave these kids. And so it was like this dream that I had of being in like the film industry kind of just got replaced by this wonderful and just beautiful connection with teaching and creating these like life-changing opportunities. And so I did a lot of growing, you know, as a new teacher, and I got a chance to work for some great people. Bobby Gonzalez was my Arthur Murray supervisor, so I'm sure you guys know him really well. And I didn't realize how famous he was. I just knew he was Bobby, and I was like, yeah, big deal. But he took me under his wing as well, and so that was a really special time, Arthur Murray San Jose, back in 1999.
Wow, that is, and you know, it's an ongoing theme that is changing people's lives and giving. So it's happened to so many people where they have a dream of being a doctor or being in film, and our industry changes their whole direction. And in your case, it certainly turned out successful, which is what we want to talk about. You met Daisy.
Yeah.
And you competed. You were great dancers.
Thank you.
Still are, but you had your competitive years for how long?
Yeah, so we started competing. Actually, speaking of Bobby Gonzalez, he's the one that told me to give her a call. He said, "Why don't you call that girl Daisy?" Because I was so bummed out that I was so tall, and all the girls that I worked with were a lot shorter than me, and I thought I'd never have a dance partner. And so he just said, you know, "Why don't you call that girl Daisy from the Hayward studio?" And so I called her up, and he's like, "I'll give you guys a coaching lesson." And he gave us 8 measures of rumba. I'll never forget this. And we practiced for 4 hours on 8 measures of rumba. And then we went and got burritos and went back and practiced another 4 hours. And she's just an insane hard worker. She's just got a brilliant mind. I'm just so lucky. I always joked around that she was so good looking that I could leave the competition floor and get a coffee and no one would notice. You know, so it made it really easy for me. But we danced from 2000 all the way through to 2009. We had our son in February of 2009. And 6 months to the day after she gave birth, she was back on the competition floor.
I think I remember seeing that. She is a rock star,
oh,
and so are you. But she is beautiful. It was a match made in heaven. It is a match made in heaven.
Thank you.
And so you retired after your first son, and that is. Did you have one studio? Had you already opened a studio then?
Yeah. So we had we took over Arthur Murray Hayward in 2003, and that was the year that we won the Rising Star Rhythm, and we were new business owners, and you know. Business partnership on top of dance partnership.
New baby?
No baby yet.
Oh, not baby. Okay, 2003.
But we were, I always joke around and say I'm shocked that Daisy said yes when I proposed to her, because being new business partners is challenging in and of itself on top of a dance partnership. And
yes.
So we were able to turn the Hayward studio around, and it became one of the top 5% Arthur Murray studios within like 18 months of us taking it over. And that was a really wonderful feeling. And then by 2007, we decided that we were going to open up a second school. And we opened that in the beginning of 2008 was the Livermore studio. And then about 6 weeks later, we got a phone call from corporate headquarters, and they asked us if Wayne said, "Would you guys be open to taking over Arthur Murray Redwood City?"
Oh gosh!
And so here we were, kind of 2 studios, and evenly matched. She would be in Hayward, I would be in Livermore, and then Daisy said no initially, and then And then Wayne can be very persuasive, so he took her out to lunch, and they chatted a little bit more, and we said, what the heck, so we went for it. And so we had 3 schools, and 1 baby in 2009, and then we were wrapping up our competition career. So.
Well, we'll continue with that. But I remember Wayne telling me every time he came out there, Daisy got pregnant. I mean, nothing to do with him, just the energy and the good luck. You opened new studios, you became pregnant again, and so that story went on for quite a few years.
Yeah, he's a good luck charm.
He's
so
a good luck
charm.
Out
there really trying to have a baby, you just invite Wayne into your neck of the woods. So.
And open another studio. So that's 3 studios.
Yeah.
1 child. Now you had when did the next 4 studios happen? How did that out of all your staff?
We ended up taking on. We ended up having another baby in 2010. So in November of 2010, we had our daughter Olivia, and then that was what was really interesting is when Daisy went into labor, we were on our way to Walnut Creek was the closest hospital where we had our son, and from the window, I could see the sign going up for our new Walnut Creek location, and I was going to tell her, but it's probably not a good time to do that while someone's in labor. But I could actually see the sign was the first time I saw it illuminated, and so we opened up Walnut Creek, and the following year, and so we. And then that school took off, and that's where Madison Cena, who's doing a great job with Stockton and Elk Grove with Joey, that's where she kind of got her real claim to fame as an executive and did a wonderful job over there. So then bit by bit, we went from Walnut Creek, and then that would make it 4 schools, and then we added, we reopened the Arthur Murray San Francisco in 2015. And it had been 10 years since there had been Arthur Murray there, and so we were really excited to do that. And that's gone through a lot of challenges as far as location and things like that. But we're finally kind of getting into a good spot there. And then 2018, we opened 2 locations in 2018. So one in the North Bay in San Rafael.
Just rolls and rolls.
Yeah, and then Brienne Thompson, who worked for us in Redwood City. She moved to Salt Lake City, and she gave us a 6-month notice that she was going to be moving to Utah. And what she didn't know was that Daisy and I had won a trip to Utah years before, and we just fell in love with Salt Lake and Park City. It's just so gorgeous. And so when she was giving us her notice, I slipped Daisy a note and said, tell her that we're going to open Salt Lake City. And we told her, and then she burst into tears. And so she's our partner in Salt Lake City, and she's just doing a bang-up job over there.
Well, and able to do that, and that's why I call you the cutting edge. You've been able to do it really very successfully, keep all these people, develop them with all these children, and just the 2 of you, I'm sure you have help, but the studios, all the staff. And there's a formula. I know the formula's in here, but we will talk about that. The secrets, the formula that you've developed, that you have found, if there's a way to itemize it, so successful for all these kids to be able to open.
I think the big thing is that there's really no difference between how we as teachers would want to impact and affect our students, and then as managers or as franchisees, that your teachers are your students now, and so I had a lot of really great times and memories, and felt like I had a wonderful student body, but then I felt like I had to trade those wonderful students in for wonderful staff, and so I took it from that same vantage point. Like I want to impact them just as much as my students have impacted me, and I feel like that becomes a symbiosis, and I think that for us, we really don't try to change the way that we talk to our staff. That even if a student walked into one of our meetings, they would understand our heart and our intention, that it's coming from a really wonderful place. And that we don't have to have shop talk or filter the language or anything like that. And so that way we're really leading from our heart, and we're trying to create
passion, right? Heart and passion.
And not only just giving them better skills, but also kind of giving somebody the chance to become the best version of themselves. No different than what we would do for our students. And so it's been really wonderful to see that with our staff.
What else can you offer people or couples that want to come into this business? How to, what their qualities should be? I actually asked, I've asked quite a few people, it's a generic question.
Sure, no problem.
Qualities of people that want to come into the business. There's success, obviously, you've shown it.
Yeah.
Not everybody may feel, I don't have his his qualities.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think even kind of coming back to the book too is that
By this book, in other words.
Yeah, there's a story in the book, and I've relived this same challenge at different stages of my life, and it's crazy how often it comes up. And I was so excited to get this job at Arthur Murray, and yet I wasn't confident enough to walk through the door. So I showed up for my interview, and I sat in my car, and I was too scared to get out, and I drove home. And then I ended up somehow deciding to drive back the next day, and then I walked in like I had an appointment, and I was just going to make up that, oh, this is my appointment, I just forgot. And I happened to get there at like 11:45, and for those of you that are Arthur Murray people, nobody is at an Arthur Murray dance studio at 11:45, but this manager happened to be there, and he hired me on the spot. And I think back to that moment, I think back to how many times I've relived something similar to that. I had an invite from a literary agent that asked me if I'd like to pitch a book to them.
Oh boy.
And I was so enamored with the invitation that I felt satisfied by that. And so I played email tag, and I never set the appointment to actually pitch the book. And so Daisy, my wonderful wife, said, "Did you set your appointment?" And I said, "Oh, we're playing email tag. We're going back and forth." And so she asked me again, "Did you set your appointment yet?" "Oh, yeah. Didn't do it yet. Oh, we're figuring it out." She logged into my email, and she booked
Daisy.
the appointment. And then she said, the next morning, she said, "Your appointment's tomorrow at 9 a.m. I booked it for you. And I even signed your name."
Isn't that crazy? I mean, students walk in, we all have the fear factor. We all think we're imposters. Wouldn't you agree that we still, no matter how successful you've been, or so many people, still feel we're imposters? So it's a great story.
Yeah.
And it will encourage people out there that are too afraid to walk in a dance studio. We say walk in and dance out.
That's it.
But you only need, would you agree, one person. It can be the teacher, somebody like yourself that hires them as they walk in, and that's all we need is one person to encourage us and get us through that door. Thank you, Daisy, for sending for this book.
And I'll tell you,
great
I think
experience.
I really truly believe that your comfort zone has like a marketing department.
Yeah.
And it's going to send you as many pop-up ads as possible to keep you the same. And I think about how many times I clicked on that ad to stay the same. And
Yes.
Arthur Murray is where I learned to stop clicking on that ad.
Yes.
And so when you think about like when someone walks through the door for the first time, they come in for their first lesson, they are choosing to not click that comfort zone ad anymore.
And they're nervous.
Yeah, of course.
And
sometimes we just forget, because we're so used to the environment, we forget what a monumental moment that is. We'll go to a restaurant, you see someone propose, you know that's a monumental moment. Everyone claps, and you might sing along with someone's birthday when they're having it at some restaurant or something. But sometimes even as teachers, we can forget that every step through that threshold is a step past their comfort zone.
Yes.
And they've stopped listening to that marketing department.
We've developed the skill of making people feel comfortable, empathy, understanding, encouragement, and coming to that with your 5 kids. I follow all their Facebook. They're dancing, they're selling honey and growing bees in the bed, they're picking up snakes. I don't know. You've trained them not to be afraid of anything, I think. It seems like they're doing so many things. How do you manage that, and will they take over the studios?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It's weird. There was a part of me that really wanted them all to be Arthur Murray ballroom dancers right from the get-go, and I think that like self-discovery is a huge thing in our house, and so the bees started because my son was doing a project on bees, and I happened to see a beehive kid at Costco, and I was like, let's just go for it. So we kind of lean into every one of the interests because we really want to foster self-discovery, because you tend to like be passionate about things that you discover. You know, it's like kids getting dressed in the morning. Like, we could never negotiate with our 4-year-old not to wear cowboy boots and a cat dress that she wore 3 days in a row.
Yes, but, only 3.
That's right, exactly. So you know, we started doing the bees and honey, and you know, I mean, one of them's really into reptiles, and you know,
yes, I
Violet's
know.
our lizard catcher, and she, you know, she's just fearless, and then all 4 of our girls are doing
major dancing.
Big time dancing,
big time competitive dancing. So I can appreciate that. They're really good at it.
Oh, thank you. They've been working really hard, and it's really neat to be a kind of like a dance dad in
Yes.
a different venue, and just to be able to sit back and let the teachers do the teaching and not have to stress about it.
Well, I could say we miss you, Daisy, and I want to thank you so much. You've inspired, well, you inspire all of us and the kids, and good parental guidance also for anyone wanting to know. Let them loose, but disciplined but loose to explore what they love, and then they'll tell you what it is, and you'll be there for them. Thank you very much, Chris.
Oh, my pleasure,
Thanks.
Victoria. It's an honor.
Is there anything else you wanted to share that I've missed?
No, I mean, I just think, if you want to pick up the book, it's available on Barnes & Noble and Target. And
Based on
Amazon.
Arthur Murray's. It is based on Arthur Murray's.
Yeah,
and
it really is. It's like a love letter to Arthur Murray, and
Yeah.
all the students that have been impacted over the years, and the stories there. I think that can really resonate with people, and I really wouldn't have had the opportunity to write something like this had it not been for my wife, of course, but also for my time with Arthur Murray, and to really understand. I truly believe that Arthur Murray is the greatest customer service organization in the world, like without a doubt, because the people that come into our industry are going in there and they're challenging everything in terms of fear and comfort. Disneyland does great customer service, but people want to be there.
Yes.
Like no one's feeling uncomfortable showing up. But people show up at Arthur Murray and they step across our floor like it's the deep end of a pool and they can't swim.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that it takes a really special kind of professional to be able to meet people where they are and to show them that they can do so much more than what their comfort zone tells them.
A great testimonial. Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching the Arthur Murray Lifestyle Series.